Good morning, boys and girls. Let's continue on with our day. Let's start with the first section, which is our ELA. Today, I will be able to identify and write the letter O. Now, read it with me as I point to each word, okay? Today, I will be able to identify and write the letter O. Capital O, lowercase o. Now, like I've been pointing out recently, remember we just read a sentence. Our sentence began with a capital letter and it started up here on the left side. We went across, we stopped, we went to the next line and we started again over here. Went across and ended with a punctuation. In this case, it was a period. Each word is separated by a finger space. So I know that is its own individual word, okay? So in this section, we are going to focus on the letter O. So our friend O is going to be, let me take them out. I thought I had them out. Apparently I didn't. So let's find our friend O and see which awesome person is with him. Here it is. The O. O makes the sound ah, ah. Then we move our arms around like an octopus. So here's our friend Olive, octopus. Ah, ah, olive, ah, octopus. If you hear, its name begins with the sound of the letter we're learning. Ah, ah, ah. So if we bring it up here, you guys use your best pointer finger and you're going to trace it. So we're going to go around just like that. So if you pay attention, it starts at the very top and it comes all the way to the bottom and goes all the way back up to the top. That's a capital O. Now with the lowercase, so it kind of looks like an oval, huh? But it's a capital O. And then when we do the lowercase o, we just stay underneath this midline. It doesn't go past it. We still go around and around, but only one time. Go around and connect underneath this midline, okay, guys? So this is the O, and it makes the sound ah, ah, ah. Now, we always take out our friend that goes with us that helps us with the directions, right? And just like I told you guys, watch. Starts over here, curves around from the top all the way to the bottom, and then comes back up to the top. Capital O. Our lowercase o is going to stay underneath this midline, doesn't go past it. It's just a smaller version. So circle back all the way around for both of them, but this one goes from top to bottom, and this one goes from midline to bottom. So make sure that you know which one you're using and for which things. For example, he is just an octopus, so it's saying octopus, and it's not a capital O. It's a lowercase letter, just like the C next to it. Do you guys see that? Now, but when we looked at our friend over here, Olive, octopus, since his name is Olive Octopus, his O is a capital O, and it's bigger than the C that's a lowercase next to them. Do you guys see that? So because it's a name, it's capitalized. But since it's just an animal, well, it's not just an animal, but it's the animal is just saying the animal type. It did not use a capital letter. So with our O, it makes a sound like octopus, olive. Okay, so it goes That helps us remember. If I say, what letter is this? You're going to say the letter O. If I say, what sound does the letter O make? You will tell me, ah. Now, one thing that we notice is it's a red one. So it's one of our 5 awesome vowels, right? It's right here. O, capital O, lowercase o. Now, before we move on and I show you how I would write it, I'm going to show you guys. We're going to say kind of quick, just the letter name, okay? So I'm going to bring them up. We say R. These are the ones we've done already. Say R. P. P. M. M. I want you guys to say, especially if we're still practicing, J. J. C. C. H. H. K. K. N. N. E. E. I. I. G. G. O. O. A. A. And S. S. Okay, this time we just said the letter names. Most of you guys can do it. There's a few that just need a little bit of practice, so it's always good to make sure we don't forget. Because if we know the letter name, we can identify it. Then we can make sure we know the letter sound. And after we know the letter sounds, we can start making words like CVC words. Consonant, vowel, consonant, by sound. So a word would be like, okay, we've learned all these letters now. A, P. Okay, so we heard the sounds, and we should know the letter names as well to help us out. A, P. So what would that make? If we listen for those sounds, and we know these letters already, so which letter makes the sound M? So I would say and I need to know that that's the M that's connected to the sound Next sound is ah. And the last sound is p, like Pee Wee Win, and that's the letter P. See how I'm trying to think? I make sure I don't just shout out. So P. That's a CVC word. It is a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant. And I hear the sounds A, P. I heard them. Now I'm going to blend them. Mop. Mop. You have to blend it together and say it together. First, you were just hearing it. Then you blend it. Mop. Mop. See, you guys can spell words now. That's why they are all important. And once we can spell words, we can start doing our own sentences, right? Yes. So as you saw me, I did the lowercase o. Let's start with the capital O. Okay, so we're always going to start over here. And since it is a vowel, I'll do it in red for you guys. So capital O, it says to start up here at the top, curve, and come back down and connect it. Oops. Cut off a little bit. Capital O. Then we want to do a lowercase o. Fingers, space. Underneath this midline though this time. You guys see that? I made sure it was almost to the top and came almost to the bottom. That's a capital O. For my lowercase, I stay underneath this midline. I don't go past it, but I still wanted to touch almost all the way to the bottom and come back up. Capital O, lowercase o, and it makes the sound like October. Remember, the only month that starts with the O, and it's a capital O because it's a month. All right, guys. So then I'm gonna write it again. Finger space, capital O, and I say O, so I don't forget. O. When I'm talking about it, this is the letter O. Letter O, not a zero. Letter O. Then I'm going to do the lowercase O. Hard for me to do it sideways. So, capital O, lowercase o. So sometimes we might get excited and we go. Is there finger space? There's capital O, capital O, capital O. But to me, it just looks like a bunch of little I's because they're too close together. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we're finger spacing. Then sometimes we'll do this. I do see the bigger O than the smaller one, but it's not a capital until it goes from top to bottom. They need to come from all the way up here to down here. Therefore, a lowercase letter, it is underneath the midline, but it doesn't touch down here. Do you guys see that? So we don't want to try to do that either. We want to make sure it starts from the top and it comes all the way to the bottom. Midline all the way to the bottom. What letter is this? Oh, what sound does it make? Ah, 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 ah. So once you watch the videos, I want you guys to take out your skill binder book. Skills practice binder book. Skill practice binder. And you're going to look for the letter O. Make sure you don't color in the letters. You'll damage your markers. So you don't have to use the red one, but I'm just using it because that's what I have. So make sure first thing you do is write your name. Don't forget that. I'm sure you guys have been doing great. Miss Mosley. And this right here, in case you guys haven't noticed, that says name. You will see that a lot. N-A-M-E, name. Okay. Then it tells you to practice the capital O. Oh, they didn't go to the top because they were trying to show you, but you can. You can come over here and start up here. Go to the top, come down, and connect it. Trace it, write it. Then you're going to practice. See, these do go up to the top. Practice all your capital O. Make sure you say O. O makes the sound ah, ah, ah. Maybe that'll help. Then you do the lowercase o. Again, that stays underneath the midline. See how I make sure there's finger space in between them. Not too close together. Trace it, write it, and then trace it down here. Make sure you say O makes the sound ah, ah, ah to help you remember what the letter name is and what sound goes with this letter. All right, you guys try it and then go on to our next section.